we're heading to the border. So we made sure we had all of our paperwork lined up last night after we finished that oil change for the generator. And luckily we were far enough away in the field from any of those people's homes that lived on that property. So we ran the generator all night and not feeling bad because I think the only people that heard it was us. So that's good. Well, us and the cows. But we are making our way. Neither one of us slept very good last night. I think just jitters with everything to come today. Will be a busy day. So hopefully, fingers crossed, all goes well. We'll find out. We're getting pretty close to the border. I think we've got maybe another 5 minutes, 10 minutes, maybe less. It's hard to say. But we just had our, I'm guessing, last Mexican inspection. There was a little checkpoint here since this road just leads to the border. I don't think there's anything else on it. And they wanted to see inside the camper. So we opened up the door and he saw Nutty sitting right by the door as usual. He said, "Oh, you have gatitos." And so he just kind of peered in and was good to go with that. I think they really enjoyed Nettie. Tyga was somewhere else. They didn't get to see her. But it seems like the cats always lighten things up a little. But they were very kind, asked how our travels were in Mexico. They noticed the surfboard and asked if we were going to surf in Guatemala too.
Yeah, they were nice enough. And the one military guy even spoke pretty good English. So that definitely makes it a lot easier.
Okay, we're pulling up. As you can see on the GPS, there's the border. So we won't be able to bring you with us because, as usual, government buildings aren't fans of recording. So we're going to respect that, but we will update you as we go.
Is this a store?
A store? We must have to go a little bit further.
Closed?
But 9 a.m. to 6. We probably just have to go that way.
Oh.
Oh, and then here's migration. That's where we go then.
Cancel our FMM.
Yeah. Must be right there. Okay, well that didn't take too long, maybe about 20 minutes, maybe a little less. I walked in with our paperwork to the Bonjarcito to cancel our temporary import permit for Mexico, and luckily there was no line, so that was easy. She just came out and looked at our paperwork, needed a copy of the passport, came out and took some photos of the truck, and then gave me a receipt to let me know that.
Oh.
I think we just have to turn around, like go out and turn around and come back in.
Oh, okay.
And like go back past all of it again. Okay, getting all confused. We're good to go. Anyhow, she took some pictures of the truck and then we walked back in and she gave me our receipt. That was my copy, basically to take for my records, and she let me know that we should receive our deposit that we put down for the TIP back on our credit card electronically within, I think she said 48 hours. So that's good to go. Then we walked over to another building next door and got stamped out of Mexico. So first 2 steps are checked. Check the box. We are now heading into Guatemala.
Did she ask you any questions or anything in the immigration, or just pretty much stamped your passport and looked at that other piece of paper? And
she asked where we crossed in from. She said,
"Oh,
Baja." I was like, "See." That was it.
Oh.
First, I handed her your stuff. I thought maybe only one of us went in. It was just one at a time, but she wanted to see each of us. She looked at it and then she was like, "Oh, this isn't you." I was like, oh, that's my husband. And she's like, no, I need yours. So that's what we were talking about. I was like, oh, sorry. I see. I get it now. Jumping into Guatemala, it says the building behind the truck.
Okay. Oh, there's the truck.
Okay. That should make it easy. Probably just go past all these tuk-tuks. These are just kids standing.
There's cones and stuff in the road, so.
Oh, that's true.
We're finished, we think. We got our TIP, we got the cats imported. It's a bit of a lengthy process and a lot of checking paperwork. In total, we got to the Mexican border around 2 hours ago, and we're leaving into Guatemala now, so not terrible for a border crossing, but yeah, not too bad.
Whew, yeah, it's been a steamy wait, but we were the only ones here, really, so that's lucky. It would have taken a lot longer, I'm sure, if we had to wait in line. But I think we messed up and paid far too much than we should have. After reading reviews from this border crossing, everyone was very clear that you should actually go up and pay your fees at the bank, which is in the back of the hardware store. And people had also been clear that often, I think in one of the offices, they will say they can take the money there, but they just ask for a lot more money. Well, even with knowing that, I read that several times before we got here, but in the moment there was just too much going on, and I was just too trusting, honestly, when they said, no, you do it all here. So I gave them the money, but it was far more. They asked for a total of 1,800 pesos, and to my knowledge, it should have only been 450 pesos for the temporary import, and then 160 pesos for each cat. The visas are free in Guatemala, so who knows. David was reading a little bit more on it after we'd already given them the money, because of course they give you a receipt, but it doesn't have that amount of money in it. So anyways, he was reading more of the reviews while we were waiting for our paperwork after the money had already exchanged hands, and it sounds like maybe from what other people have written, they just have a really bad exchange rate, is what they're calling it right there. So whatever, I guess saved us a step, and we know for next time that a little bit of a bummer, give them a little extra cash, but oh well, what are you gonna do? Anyways, we're gonna pop in and hit the potty in the camper real quick and grab some food out of the camper to grab for lunch, since it's about noon. We're both pretty hungry. I think we still have about a 3-hour drive, and so we hear it's likely that we're gonna have a little police checkpoint in a few minutes, so we won't be getting on our way anytime soon, but we still need to get new SIM cards. I did read and remembered that we were not supposed to get SIM cards at the hardware store, because it sounds like it's usually a scam where you'll get a SIM card and pay a certain amount of money for a certain number of amount of data, and there's not that much data on the SIM cards. So we're gonna wait and get those somewhere else, a little bit further from the border. Yeah, I guess we'll see. We need to exchange our money. We actually haven't gotten any quetzales yet, so maybe we'll find a bank too. Alright, had a little teeny lunch. Got some snacks in the car, and we are headed out of this border town, making our way towards San Benito. So we'll see what we find along the way. I'm sure a checkpoint or two. We'll see. But we're in Guatemala. That's exciting, right?
Yeah, very exciting. Happy to finally be through the border, get some distance, in this lake that we're going to today looks so pretty. So
yeah,
excited to see it.
Yeah, should be nice. It'll be good when we get there. I will say, thinking about the border, really, it was pretty simple and straightforward compared to what some of the other border crossings are like from what I've read and seen on YouTube, as far as Guatemalan borders go with Mexico. So I think we did well in that there were no lines, there was no one else really there. The border agents were pretty patient with us, and some of them spoke a little bit of English, so that helped too. Got a tope. So that's good. I think I wish we had remembered or acted on going to the hardware store to pay our bills. But aside from that, I think it was a pretty straightforward, easy border, so I'm sure we'll have harder ones to come.
They're right there.
Guess we're good. Well, we just passed the first military zone, and the guys were sitting there eating lunch at the table, and they gave us a wave and said, "Go on by." With their wave. They didn't say that. But that's a good sign. So maybe at least one fewer checkpoint today. We think we might have just looked out again. We were coming through some farmland, and there were a couple cones in the road and a lot of police officers, but they were all standing in the shade underneath the trees. It is very hot outside, and we kind of just waved as we went past because no one else was stopping in front of us, so why would we stop if they're not stopping? It wasn't like they were in the road or anything, so we just waved and kept going.
Yeah, that's fine. It's definitely a good philosophy. Don't stop unless someone is clearly flagging you to stop. If not, just keep on rolling.
Yep, that's our motto. It's worked so far. Oh, and there's just a pig walking around. Haven't seen that yet. Went through a little town. Looks like some kids are out of school. Little tiendas. Every town seems to have a church, a few tiendas, a few restaurants, and a basketball court, and a school. It was like that in Mexico, and it seems pretty similar here in Guatemala. Look at these piglets! They're kind of far away. I hope it showed up. In Mexico, there were chickens everywhere, but so far we've only seen pigs running around. Since we crossed the border. I'm sure there will be plenty of chickens, but look, here's another pig. Oh my gosh. Watch out, don't hit him. Or her. Oh, that's her. That's probably Mama. Well, they still have tons of speed bumps here in Guatemala, but they call them something different. They're called Tumelos here. So back in Mexico, they were usually called topes, sometimes reductors. They probably had another name for them too, but that's all I can remember. Anyways, most of them so far have not been painted here, and sometimes there's a sign to let you know they're coming, sometimes there's not. We've had one that was painted bright yellow. But kind of interesting. We passed through a couple of towns that are a decent size, and they've got all kinds of little tiendas and a Domino's food truck. First time I've seen that. We've seen people pulling those, well, they look kind of like big seed pods or something off of some of the palm trees. So I'm wondering if they're palm kernels, seeing as palm kernel is used often in lots of foods as an additive, but lots of other products too. I'm not for sure that's what it is, but that's all I can think of. But we saw it a lot in Mexico, and now here in Guatemala, they fill up the truckloads. We're making pretty good progress. I think we've got around 40 minutes until we're in the town of San Benito, which is where we're hoping to find an ATM and also a little grocery store. And then I think from there it's maybe only 20 minutes to where we're hoping to camp. So we'll find out. We're both exhausted. I think the heat just really takes it out of you. I mean, whew. Right now the car says it's 105 degrees Fahrenheit outside. So if that tells you anything, it's 2:42 p.m. in the afternoon. So I'm very tired. David's done a good job driving.
Yeah, wore out, didn't sleep so good last night. The roads aren't too much different, or road rules from Mexico, so nothing too surprising other than the different name for the topes. And it seems like the speed bumps, Tumelos, are not as well marked as they were in Mexico. In Mexico, you'd almost always have a sign or something next to the speed bump, but here it seems like more often than not there is no sign, and a lot of times they're not painted and they blend into the road really well, so that portion of it keeps me on my toes a little bit. But we've only got about a half hour left till we're hopefully at a store, and then we're pretty close to our camp spot for the day, where we can sit back and relax and have a beer and enjoy the lake.
Alright, update. We had some wins and a few struggles. We thought we were routed to a Walmart. I found it on our app we like to use, iOverlander, but I couldn't find it on Google or using Maps.me, another map app we use that's offline. Anyhow, it makes sense now that we just passed there. It's not a Walmart. It looked like just a little market. So we're gonna still need to find some food, because we're pretty low stocked, because despite really having no check at all of our fridge or food commodities, everything that we had stored, we used most of it since we knew we weren't supposed to take it across the border. So we are very low stock on the nom noms, so we gotta find that. But luckily we did find a store, in fact this one right here, that sold SIM cards. So now David and I have new Guatemalan phone numbers, and we have SIM cards. So the two big companies here are Tigo, like on this tent, and Claro is the other one. So in the event that one company works better in one area of the country, we decided to each get one. So I have Claro, David has Tigo, and we'll see how it goes. But we got that figured out, and we also found an ATM. So we finally have some quetzales. So we have some local currency, some in efectivo, little cash money. So that's good. So lots of places don't take card. But we are routed to the campsite. We didn't see any little markets that were nearby where we were just at. So we thought, well, let's head that way. Surely we'll run into a little tienda or market, and we'll figure it out. We'll make do. Surely we won't go hungry. So stay tuned, we'll see what we find. Just passing through some of these little towns on the lake. They're really cute. The GPS says we still have 5 minutes till we make it to where we're headed. Fingers crossed it's gonna work out. It's about 4:45 p.m. and the sun is starting to go down. We still have probably another hour or two of daylight, but anyhow, it'll just be good to make it to where we're going and just call it good for the day. We're both pretty tired. Alright, well, we found a tiny little tienda and got a few staples, so definitely not everything we need, but it'll get us by for tonight. You can kind of see a little store over there. We paid, let's see, 65 quetzales. And after we paid, she said, here you go. She gave us 2 little granola bars, so I don't know if she thought she overcharged us or not. Hard to say. But you can see in our grocery bag, we got some beans, some potatoes, tomatoes, and a couple onions, jalapeno, a little bit of juice, can of corn. Enough to get us by for at least tonight, for sure. Well, we made it. We're set up. We took some time, ate a little snack, and tried to figure out Starlink, which luckily is still working, even though we're in Guatemala, and technically it's not supposed to work here. But that's exciting.
I was nervous at first because when I first got the dish set up, it probably searched for satellites for maybe like 20 minutes, and I was like, oh crap, it's not going to work. But then I reset everything, and after it was reset, it started working. So hopefully it's not a fluke, and we can keep getting that internet service because we've really grown accustomed to having a good internet connection.
Let me tell you, first world problems. But anyways, sounding like there's little thunder, but we wanted to walk down to the lakes. We haven't done it yet. We're kind of parked up on a hill close to where the family lives and stays, and then you can walk down from here. Even with it getting cloudy from the rain, it looks pretty. It's nice. Cute.
Water's so clear.
Yeah.
See all the way down to the bottom. See all the rocks and everything else. Sure, it's really pretty in the daytime.
Yeah. Well, let's come back tomorrow. So
Yeah.
it's starting to sprinkle. We'll see you tomorrow. Well, we've had a nice, slow day. Mostly relaxing and staying in the AC. But I think we needed a slow day after the busy border crossing yesterday. So I came down to the lake and went for a little dip earlier this afternoon. Worked on some video editing. Made sure we figured out our insurance for Guatemala officially. A few other things. But it's the evening now. It's around 6 p.m. We thought we'd come down and check out the water. It's cooled down nicely. It was really hot earlier, so I couldn't stay out long. But we feel refreshed, so that's good. Lots of puppies here. In fact, a whole entourage of pups. I think they've got at least 6, maybe 8. One's swimming. They're all very friendly, though. It's pretty quiet here right now. You can hear one boat off in the distance, but there's really not very many boats, it seems, on this lake. Today was just what we needed. Some rest. So I think the plan is to head out of here tomorrow go and see some more cool things. So stay tuned. Lots more of Guatemala to come. But our first stop didn't disappoint. If you liked this video, let us know by liking and subscribing. And don't forget, you can see more of the journey on Instagram and TikTok. Cheers, friends!